Hello and welcome, my friends. How are you doing today? Hello, and welcome. My name is Casey, and I will be guiding you through this practice this evening. So, welcome. Let me know if there's anything I should be aware of in your body, whether you've had a recent injury or a recent surgery, prenatal, postnatal. Remember, this is a trauma-sensitive yoga class for sexual abuse survivors. So there will be certain postures that we just completely skip. And if there's anything else that happens in the practice, if there's a pose that we're getting into and it doesn't feel right, skip it, right? Like, it's no shame in doing something that just doesn't feel comfortable in your body. Because remember, the whole purpose of this 5-week class, this series, is to develop that self-awareness, to develop the body awareness, to experience the sensations in the body, and then allow those to come up into words. Like, what does that feel like? Where are you feeling it? What kind of sensation is it? So literally, it's kind of like getting back down to like brass tacks. We're feeling what's happening in the body because we want to express it. We don't want to hold on to it. We want to release it and let it go. And that's like what we're doing. We're feeling it to heal it, right? And then once you can feel it, you can name it, and you can name it to tame it. So that is literally what we were doing right now, the past 5 weeks. So with that, my friends, let us go ahead. And is there anything that you want to tell me about what you've been experiencing with the practice? Is there anything that has come up when you've been journaling? Just go ahead and put it in the chat. Just feel free. What are you feeling right now? Like, how are you feeling as you're coming to practice? How have you been feeling? Has this been alleviating any kind of, emotional response to this practice? Any kind of feedback. Tell me how you're doing today. Tell me what you've thought about the practice. Tell me if there's anything that's come up during the practice or maybe even after the practice. Maybe, in the week leading up to our next one. I'm always curious, and so tonight's theme is take back your power. That's what we are working on, taking back our power over our bodies, right? This is our vessel, and we get to choose who has access to it, right? And a lot of us have experienced, with trauma, hi mama, that we had no choice, right? Somebody forced us to do something, or something was forced upon us where we had no control. We had no choice over what anybody was doing to our bodies. And now here we are in this practice. We get to choose. You get to choose how deep you take the pose. You get to choose if you even take the pose at all. This is about you and your power. Hi, Firefly, welcome. Had a difficult week? Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here for you and the others that are joining. Absolutely. And Firefly, it's your first time, so you missed the other 4 practices. If you're interested in purchasing the other 4 practices, they are up for purchase, so you can keep forever on Patreon. And so that's there for you as well. I'm sorry about your week. Is there anything emotional that I should be aware of? We are going to be doing a little bit of back bending, which is really nice to, if we happen to be not feeling so great, those back bends can really help stimulate and kind of bring us up a little bit. So we are going to go through some very familiar postures that we did last week. So if you missed last week, we did warriors 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to do them again, but we do them out of sequence. I teach them in anatomically correct, sequence of. Mama, are you okay? You scared me. It's just my little sign. Are you saying love is not the heart of our home? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Are you okay? It's okay, sweet pea. You can lay down. You're all jiggity. It's okay, Mama. Gotta soothe my dog. Back on track. Anybody journaling, and how has that been looking? How has that been feeling for you? I love the ability to be able to write. I'm a writer at heart. I love expressing. So, getting it out on paper alleviates a little bit of the stress, alleviates any of that mental chatter, that mental clutter that we have. It just, instead of letting it ruminate, you're getting it down on paper and you're getting it out. And that's what we want. We want you to express, or I want you to express. I want you to find ways to move the emotions. So whether you're doing it physically, maybe through art, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a creative. So find those creative ways to let it go. Hi Priscilla, how are you? Welcome. All right, so lovely to have you. And have whatever props you might need. Have some water, have some tea. If you feel a little chilly, have something to wrap yourself up in. The temperature has dropped a little bit in Vegas. I think we're in the 60s. We skipped right over the great weather of 80s, right into the 60s. I'm so bummed about that. So this is our final practice. If you choose to, you want to go over it again, I do have those up for sale on my other account, my Patreon account. So you're always welcome to have those. Other than that, we will be practicing not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I got ahead of myself. I did an Instagram live and I said tomorrow and I meant Friday. Friday, yin practice, 5 p.m. a regular time. No practice on Sunday. My bestie will be here and we're going to Tears for Fears on Saturday night. So it's going to be a fun weekend and I don't want to kick her out to teach yoga. I want her to take her time getting out of here because she's got to drive back to LA. Yeah, can't wait. Fun. Okay, friends, so let's go ahead, grab whatever we're using for practice, blankets, towels, pillows, couch cushions, blocks, bolsters if you have them. And let's start with some seated meditation, okay, and some breathing. So let's get this practice started. All right. So maybe you're using a bolster, maybe you're using blankets and towels. Just leave that right there, Mama. That's okay. Hi, sweet pea. Jiggity, are you all right? You know Mama's leaving after, huh? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, baby girl. All right, so comfortable seats, sitting up nice and tall. All right. So again, just checking in with our bodies, noticing if we're experiencing any kind of discomfort as we come to this seat. Maybe it's the low back. So give yourself an opportunity to just kind of move and get comfortable in your seat. So maybe rock forward a little bit, rock back, maybe side to side. And just notice where you start to feel even. Just notice where it feels comfortable. And then working to get the shoulders over the hips, allow the spine to grow long. And if closing your eyes feels comfortable, I invite you to do that, but no pressure. Again, each thing I offer is a choice. And like I said at the beginning, this is all about us taking back our power, taking back control. Because you know what? I have to tell you, it feels really good to say no. You know, when opportunity or certain things come up and you know it's just not going to work, it's empowering to say no, you know? And like myself, maybe many of you in the past, you say yes to things because you don't want to disappoint. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make waves. And you say yes because the people pleasing, right, that we have developed because perhaps of our trauma. I know that's where mine stems from. And that yes, of course, I want to be the good girl. I want to do the right thing. I want to make sure that you like me. So I'm going to say yes. And this is where we can say no. And we can stand in that no and be confident because we don't want to do that, X, Y, Z. I don't want to go to that party. I don't want to hang out with those people, or because you know it's going to lead to another decision that may not be great for you, right? So saying no and just being okay with saying no. And no is a complete sentence. There's no explanation. And that is also another symptom of our trauma, of over-explaining, right? And I see it happen now that I'm aware of it, and people, I would be like, I never would notice it before until I started paying attention, and I can see it when I encounter people. There's two different things, right? There's the people that come to you to tell you things because they trust you, and they feel that empathy, and they know that you're not going to judge them. But then you also have those other people that just tell you everything. It's literally like they're taking their purse and they're dumping it out. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff in there. Like, that's a lot. But then I also offer them compassion. So when I see it happening And I can see it's like uncomfortable sharing. They're not necessarily wanting to share it with you. They just want to over explain. And another great acronym for that, if you notice it, and I share it in my regular yoga classes, is WAIT. Why am I talking? Once you recognize that, you can be like, oh, I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to let the other person talk, right? That over explanation, sharing details about things that people may not really need to know or care about. That's what I've encountered. But I see it happen. I talk to people on the phone at work and they're like telling me, oh, no, like this, I can't do that. And then they're just telling me things like, this is not information I necessarily need to get this transaction done, but it's just that oversharing, leaving it all out there because we want to be liked, right? We want people to like us and we're people pleasing. We don't have to do that anymore. I give you permission to give yourself permission to not people please. Okay, so enough of my talking. If we've sat here for too long and if you want to switch the crossing of your shins, you can do that. Or if there's another way that you would like to sit that's better, please feel free to take that. Okay, sending you guys lots of love back. All right, happy that you are all here this evening. If you've missed any of the practices, they are recorded and I can tell you where to find those later. All right, so tonight's theme is Take Back Your Power. We're going to start the process of healing. Right? And the healing comes in layers. So maybe you've already done work surrounding this issue, surrounding the trauma that you experienced. Maybe you did it a long time ago and you're coming back to it. Just know that healing is not linear. Because baby, if it was, I would have been healed already. But it's not, right? It's like an event happens, maybe it triggers something else, and then we go deeper into it and we just kind of get more curious. So curiosity is very helpful. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. Same breath we practiced last week, Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. We will begin on the left side. So take a few cycles of breath, breathe in through both sides of the nose. Inhale, exhale, release. Inhale one more time, full breath in. Maybe allow that breath to get a little fuller, a little deeper. Feel the body expanding sideways. Exhale slowly out the nose. One final breath in. Now exhale. Cover the right nostril with your right thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. When you get to the top of the breath, cover that left nostril. Exhale right. Inhale through the right. Cover the right nostril, exhale left. Inhale left. Cover the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Cover the left nostril, exhale right, keep going. Just don't inhale and exhale the same side. It's inhale one side, exhale that side, and then inhale that side, exhale the other side. Good. Keep going. And if you mess up, it's okay. Come back to it. It's a practice, not a perfect, my friends. The next time you exhale through the left, let that be your last breath. Lower your hands down, release, and then just find a comfortable breath. You may have noticed something shifted in the nose. Maybe if you were a little congested, maybe it's cleared up a little bit. Again, I love this breath. It's one of those ones that if I wake up in the middle of the night and like I can't go back to sleep and the thoughts are kind of all over the place, That's the breath I like to come to. Yeah, so keep that one in your toolbox. Keep it in your back pocket. Again, I want to try to teach you tools that you can take with you so that it's not just like, oh yeah, this is my yoga practice and that's where it stays. And as I've learned, yoga is not something you just do on the mat. Yoga is literally how you walk out that door and live your life. So these are tools for life, I think. I feel. That's what I've experienced. All right, I see some comments popping through. I want to just run over to them really quick. Hate to interrupt. No worries, Ron. I love this weekly series, but tonight I have my volume turned all the way up and I can't hear a word. Okay, let me turn my volume up, see if that helps. Oh no, I can hear Ron. Update, think I fixed the issue. Okay, Ron, awesome. But don't worry, that happened on Saturday too, or excuse me, Sunday. And one person said they couldn't, and then their person was like, no, I can hear you. So, I don't know. Do all the tech stuff. Check your volume, check mute, check all that good stuff. Turn it up. Yeah, I have mics. I got to figure out how they work and if I can work it on my laptop. I know how to work it on my phone, but I got to see if it's something I can use here. IT has been glitching. Thank you, Priscilla. Yeah, it happens. And I don't know. We have like weird stuff happening like in Vegas too. I don't know if it's like the wind. It's a wind tunnel here and it hasn't been super windy, but we did have some the other day. So it just gets weird like that. The interwebs. All right. If you are sitting on something and you want to move it out of the way to feel a little bit more stable, please do so. I am taking that opportunity to do that. All right. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and take some circles with the spine. So nice and slow in one direction. Again, if you've noticed, it's a little different than the regular practices I might teach on Friday or on Sundays. I don't give you cues for right or left. It's whatever side you want to go to, right? This is, again, you taking back your power, taking control, and listening to that intuition, listening to your body, feeling what is right for you today. Right, but all I ask that you do is just to keep breathing. But if you happen to stop breathing, notice and just start breathing again. Right, this is the body awareness part. This is why this practice doesn't need to have overcomplicated moves. It's really just about sensing and getting back into this meat suit and feeling like it's yours again. Because for many years, this body did not feel like it was mine. It felt like I did not have ownership over this. This was somebody else's. And they could do whatever they wanted to it. And then when you figure it out, you're like, no, my body, my choice. This is my body, and I get to choose who gets to have access, who gets to touch it, who gets to, be close to it. And that's powerful, right? All right, and then reverse, go the other way. Yes. Beautiful. Just keep breathing. Don't forget to exhale all the way out. Good. All right, let's take about 4 more circles in this direction. Trying to keep the spine tall if you can, but if it starts to round, that's okay. I just want to make sure we're not feeling any discomfort. If there's any pain, sharp shooting pain, snapping, that is your cue to stop. All right? Okay. Slowly come back up. And we're just going to take some side bends. So bring one hand down. We're going to do a little active, right? A little dynamic movement here. So just bring one hand down, the other arm over. See what you're feeling in your sitting bones. Can you feel like you're rooting down? Do you feel heavy in the hips and the backside? Good. And then maybe you might notice what's happening on the side body as you take the side bends. Are you experiencing sensation here up the side? Maybe through the arm as well, depending on how far over you are going. And then maybe you come over to one side and then we stay. We're going to hold here. It could just be the palm on the floor. Maybe you bring the elbow down. These are all choices. And they're all personal choices. Keep reaching that arm. Can you feel a stretch? Can you feel kind of like skin sliding, right? Maybe the fascia just kind of gently pulling. We definitely want, this is why the practice on Friday is so beneficial, because that's what we're getting into, right? And let's inhale up, exhale other side, whatever side that is, it does not matter. Again, maybe it's palm grounding down, or maybe you can get the elbow down. Good. And it could look different on each side. Maybe you're up a little bit more on one side than the other. Keep reaching, keep pushing down through that opposite hip and breathe. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. 1 more inhale. Reach the fingers long. Good. And then exhale, and then we'll inhale to come back up. Okay. Some twists. Bring the fingertips on the shoulders. Lift the elbows about shoulder height. So even take a peek, right? And this was where body awareness really came in for me. We're just going to slowly turn side to side. I think we saw these back in week 1. Haven't done them since, but we'll do a little more dynamic movement here with some twists. Twist does not need to be super deep. Okay? Just a little bit. And then when you do this, I can feel my abdominals, right? My side abdominals are starting to say something to me now. And they're saying, ooh, that's nice. That's a nice little twist. But as I started on this yoga journey 17 years ago, I really was kind of disconnected from my body. And so when I started to practice, I gained this awareness about how my body moved. And oh, if I do this, I can do this. And if I turn my hand this way, my shoulder does this. Like, it was very informative. So at first it's, a little discouraging. Maybe the body has limitations because you're new to something and it's not used to moving in certain ways. Then slowly, just kind of slow down. Good. Come back to center. We are going to hold a twist. So inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, turn over to the right arm behind you. This left arm, I did cue sides just out of habit. So whatever side you're turning to, take that arm behind you, and then the other arm comes across your body. Good. And then again, you can experience still that turning of the abdominals. You can keep your head neutral or to the side, or you may even turn it so you're looking over your shoulder. So as you're on this journey of feeling back into your body, you have that awareness, you start to feel stronger, for sure. You're noticing, oh wow, this is making a difference in my life. Stay for 1 more big breath in. Exhale. Good, back to center. Inhale the arms up once more. Exhale, turn to the other side. That back arm comes behind you. Opposite arm across the body on top of the knee. And then again, lengthen. Sit up nice and tall. Drop your shoulders. Just notice, or even just observe. Notice where your shoulders are right now. Because this was, again, awareness that came as I started to practice more. I'm like, oh, my shoulders are by my ears. Can I move them away and make some space? Ah, yes, I can. I can make some space. And tuck. 2 more breaths here. Sitting up nice and tall. Turn your head neutrally or to the side, or maybe look over the shoulder. 1 big more. My words are just not working for me today. 1 more big breath in. Exhale, unwind, come back to center. All right, and then finally, let's just take some seated cats and cows here. Inhale, bring the heart forward. Exhale, round. Good. So finding where you're noticing, right? What are you feeling? Is it tolerable? Is this something that is easier to do? Right, just notice. And I love this practice for newer practitioners, people that have maybe never done yoga. I mean, it's good for everybody, but this is one of those practices that I would not want people to feel discouraged from trying because they've never done yoga. The whole point of this is to make it very accessible and very friendly to people. So, because I know yoga can come off with like a lot of like woo things and whatever. But I love talking to people about yoga. I talk to people every day about yoga, and the benefits of it and what they've experienced with the practice. And so that's just good stuff. I could talk about it all day long. All right, so let's take 2 more cats and cows seated here. We're going to add something else into our practice that we have not really done, and it's just going to be some sun salutations, but a little modified. We're going to take some things out. So we're just going to keep them as simple as possible, not too complicated. All right, my friends, come back to that comfortable seat. However you want to transition up to a standing posture, that's what we're going to do. So, and everyone's going to come out of it different, and that's okay. Right? I know when I first started practicing, I relied a lot upon my teacher to tell me exactly what to do because I am an excellent follower of directions when, like we do this, we do this, we do that, and then we do this. I'm like, great, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got it. Let's do it. I'm a procedure kind of person. So when I started to go to practices where it was more like, you get to choose, try this or try that, I was like, panicked. I don't know what to do. Do what feels right. Simple answer. Do what feels right. And then if you try something and it doesn't feel right, that's okay. You don't have to do it again on the other side, right? Okay, so let's find just a comfortable stance. I'm going to turn and face forward just so that you can see how I am choosing to stand today. So you can take your feet hip distance apart. This is supportive, this is natural for most of us. If it speaks to you, maybe you take the feet together. And maybe this puts a little kind of different sensation in a standing posture, right? Like I said, I'm not using any of our Sanskrit, I'm not, labeling it, giving it any names. We're standing here, right? So you can choose to stand with your feet together or you can take them apart. But try both. And I've, told this story before. As a little girl growing up in Los Angeles with my mom who loves to shop, she always made me try everything on. And so this is what I like to tell people when it comes to postures. I want you to try it on. So try it on with the feet together and then try it on with the feet apart. Again, it's still your choice. You can or choose not to. Totally up to you. It makes no difference to me, right? I'm not going to take that personally, what you choose to do with your body, because it's your body. So here I am with my feet about hip distance apart. That feels good and natural to me, so that's how I'm going to stand. I'm just going to come over to the top of my mat. Let's inhale the arms overhead. And then as you're here, maybe you're looking up, maybe you're looking at your hands, maybe you bring your hands together. And then you can try taking them apart. Right? These are all options and choices that you get to say yes to. All right, so arms are overhead. We're going to bring those palms together. Exhale, bend your knees. Come down into a quick forward fold. Let the head go. We're going to come up a lot. So bring your hands either right below your knees or above your knees, and then lift the heart up. So try to make some space here. Keep the collarbones wide. Try not to round or collapse the heart here. So keep it open. Good, and then exhale one more time, all the way down. Let the fingers touch the floor. And then slowly inhale, roll all the way back up. Bring the arms back up again. Maybe there's a little back bend at the top. Touch those palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, let's do that again. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge from your hips, right? Like you're reaching to bend down to grab something. Come up halfway. Inhale. Hands come on top of the knees or below the knees, but lift the heart up. Exhale, release back into that forward fold just for a moment. Slowly roll all the way up. Inhaling. Bring the hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. One more, just like that. We're gonna add some postures. Some more standing postures. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, hinge. Inhale brings you halfway up. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, release, let it go. And then slowly inhale, rolling all the way up. Take those hands overhead. Palms can touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. And so if you're kind of newer to yoga, those were what we call like half sun salutations. And like I said, we did everything in a half sun salutation, but we didn't hang out in certain spaces too long. All right, again, and that is coming to this practice. This is again why it is a little different. We take out some of the postures that put our bodies in positions that just could bring sensation, could bring memories back, right? So we want to try to approach this practice with consideration and kindness and compassion for ourselves and our bodies. So we are now going to start the warrior series. We're going to go to warrior 2, 1, and then 3. So whichever side you start with is totally fine, but let's find a little movement here. So bend and straighten into that knee. Just make sure the toes are pointing towards the top of your mat. This back leg is straight. Press down into that heel. And then you're going to find that warrior 2. Bring the arms out from the heart. Or maybe you keep the hands in front of the heart. Again, these are choices. The shoulders feel okay, take the arms out. If the shoulders feel a little, tough, a little tired, just bring hands to heart center or hands to hips. A couple of other choices here. Good. So down into warrior 2, get a little deeper maybe. Feel that strength, feel your legs, notice your feet. Can you lift your toes and wiggle them? Bring a little movement there. Good, you can even, I don't know, for some reason my fingers started to go too. So wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and then let them settle. Good, one more breath. Good, now bring those hands to your hips. We're gonna come into that warrior 1. So I like to walk my feet a little wider to give myself a wider base so I don't teeter-totter, okay? We're on railroad tracks, not a tightrope. So keep the feet about hip distance. This back hip will swing forward because we're gonna square the hips to the top of our mat. And then reach arms overhead, or maybe keep arms in front of you if the shoulders feel a little too spicy today. You can keep them there, or maybe even give yourself a hug, right? So take the arms, wrap them around your body, and then you can come into warrior 1 just like this. It's actually kind of nice, Sometimes I find myself giving myself a little hug throughout the day. I'm living alone again, so hugs are like gold. I think I need more of them. And they say you need 4 hugs a day for 4 hugs for survival, 8 hugs for, 4 hugs, 8 hugs, 4 for maintenance, 4 for survival, 8 for maintenance, 12 for growth. Yes, that's what it is. All right, carefully take those arms out. Again, bring those hands to your heart center. We're gonna come into warrior 3 on this first side. All right, now take those back toes, that back heel, lift it up, and then get really light on that leg. Start to transition all of that weight to the standing, that front leg that's gonna be the standing leg. Hands can stay at your heart. Like we did last week, maybe you begin to lift the toes off. Maybe the toes stay on the floor. These are all choices. We're all at different levels. Maybe you don't feel as balanced this week. That's okay. Keep those toes on the floor. If you start to feel a little more balanced, go ahead and begin to lift that back leg up. And those palms can stay at your heart, or maybe you fly them behind you, or maybe you take them forward. Maybe you point the toes. Maybe you flex them. Let's hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly float that foot back. Shake it out. Shake it out. Right, that was our warrior sequence on the first side. Let's come to our second side. And my friends, please feel free at any time. If you need to pause, you need to take a moment, take it down, a child's pose, or just a comfortable seat, or just come back to your standing posture. Do that. Drink some water, have some tea. It's all good. All right, second side, warrior two. Bend and straighten into that front knee. Press down through that back heel. Feel like you're stamping that foot into the earth and nothing is gonna move it. So bend and straighten. Good. Take the arms out from the heart, keep them on the hips, or maybe hands at heart center. Just notice your knee. Make sure it's not dropping in and it's over that ankle joint. Good. Breathing here. Feel those strong warrior legs supporting you. They've been with you this whole time. All right, lift the toes. Right, maybe wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. A little movement. Let's hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's come out of that warrior two. Hands come to hips. Again, maybe hop that back foot out slightly and square the hips to the top of your mat. And then once you get there, we're gonna bend into that front knee. So if you want to take a couple bend and straightens, you can. But keep pressing down through that back heel. It is rooted, it is grounded. And then maybe arms come forward, or maybe arms come overhead. Good, and if the low back gets a little too spicy, come out of that knee in the front. Just, you don't have to bend as deep. Okay. Only go as far as feels comfortable and safe for you. All right, friends, let's get ready for our warrior three. Bring those hands to the heart. Turn that heel up, get light on the toes, bring all that weight to the standing front leg. So like before, maybe the toes stay on the floor. Maybe you start to hinge forward and you lift that back leg. Play with pointing and flexing that foot wherever it is. Even if it's on the floor, you can do a little point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. And then hands, arms behind you at heart center, or maybe bring them forward. It's all good. Stand in your power. And if you wobble, that's okay. You are human. You could even take blocks if you had them and put them down in front of you as well. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Float that foot down. Shake it out. Shake it out. I love those warriors. They are so powerful. They are so strong. And I'm going to tell you something. Just take a pause for a moment. Grab some water. We're going to head into another standing posture for balance after this. But I'm just a side note, you know, when you share stories with people, and maybe you encounter somebody that hasn't had the same experiences. Maybe they've had a little, I hate to compare trauma, but maybe they've had a little less, maybe not as extreme, something different. And they turn to you and they say, wow, you are so strong. I don't know how to respond to that most of the time. I just go, yeah, right? You shake your head and you're like, yeah, totally. I don't always feel so strong. I don't, you know, and so it's such an interesting thing for someone to look at you and know what you've been through and, you know, and say that you're so strong. But for me, I don't always feel that way. I still feel pretty weak at times. But, you know, there's things that I do that do make me feel strong. Going to the gym, having a nice workout, that makes me feel strong and powerful. So I encourage you to find things that help you to feel strong and powerful and like that warrior. I identify more with warrior than I do with like strength, because it's like a battle. That's what it feels like. Like things that happen in my life, it's a battle and I have to get through it and I have to work through it. And then once I get to the other side, then I can kind of go, oh, wow. Whew. Okay, shake it off. Next. What's next? Because that's what it feels like at times. So the strong part, I don't know. You have to do it, right? You have to do what you have to do to get to the next thing, right? To move forward, because it's not about, nothing's going to change the past. Nothing's going to change what happened to us. It changes us. And we need to work on the healing part of it, because I know when I thought I was healed, because I went to therapy when I was a kid, and then realizing it manifested in other ways, drinking, promiscuity, like all of these things that I did because I was healed. I'm like, no, I got control of myself. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. And then later it kind of plays out and you're like, yeah, I know why I did that. I wasn't healed yet. I wasn't even on the journey. All right, friends, coming into tree pose. I offer tree 3 different ways. The first one, just turn that leg out, the other leg that you're not putting all the weight on. Turn that knee out to the side. Let that heel rest on your ankle, and then you can be right here. Call this kickstand, right? A little kickstand here. You're still going to get those wonderful benefits. You can feel the abdominals engaging here. So this is a very powerful pose. Think of those trees, and you can be whatever tree you want. A palm tree, a walnut tree, an oak, a ficus. I don't know, whatever. If you feel a little more balanced, maybe you bring that foot up a little higher. And if you have a practice where you feel comfortable bringing that foot above your knee, you're more than welcome to do that, but it is not required. And then holding here. Again, if you wobble, it's okay. You can put a little bend in that standing knee if you like, but keep pressing those hands together. Press the hands together, and then can you press your foot into your leg and see if that helps. And we'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out, my friends. Can you feel it? I feel my ankle. I feel the standing leg, and it definitely feels like it got strong, right? I can notice that. I'm like, yeah, my legs are strong. I'm just not sure if my head and my heart are as strong as these muscles that hold me up, right? Okay, other side. Again, you take your pick. Turn one leg out to the side. All the other weight is in the standing leg, right? That supporting leg. This other one's like kind of light. Heel is on the ankle. Hands are at heart center or hands on hips. And you can hold here. But keep pressing the palms together. Keep pressing the leg and the ankle, ankle and foot together. And then you may stay here. Bring it above, a little higher, or you can bring it all the way up above the knee. Just don't keep it on the knee joint. I want to keep our knees safe and healthy. Holding for 10, 9, 8, 7. Notice your feet. Notice your foot. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Shake it out. Shake it out. Okay. I do want to do a back bend. So we're going to come down to knees. If you want to use a blanket under your knees, you can do that just to give yourself a little more support. Props or no props, it's completely up to you. If you want to use your blocks, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to place our hands on our low back. I'm going to show you how to do it with blocks as well, but I will be taking it with no props tonight. So as you come to this shape, again, keep the knees about hip distance apart, just for balance, right? Feels better probably. Bring your hands to your low back. That's where they're gonna go. And if you're taking them on the blocks, you're just gonna take those blocks right under your shoulders. This doesn't have to be a very deep back bend. Depending on where you are right now on the planet, I'm here on the West Coast, I'm here in Nevada, in Las Vegas. So it's still like, 5:45. It's still kind of early in the evening. So I can do a deeper back bend and I should probably be okay with going to sleep. But if you take a super, super deep back bend and it's close to bedtime, it might be too stimulating. So think about what time it is, what time you're going to sleep, and how much do you really need, okay? I want you to think about the front body here. I want you to think about lifting up, and then maybe there's a little bit of an arch. Doesn't have to be super deep. So when you're ready, take those hands on the low back, lift up, and then think over like a beach ball. Good. And again, if you're taking the hands on the blocks, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Good, and holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Gently come out. Sit back down onto your heels. Typically in a regular class, I would probably show this. We would do it 3 times. But for this practice, we're just going to do it once, just because I don't want to overstimulate you before bedtime, right? Okay, so let's get into one more posture before we start to wind down the practice tonight. Stepping 1 foot forward, we're going to come into a lunge. And you can keep the knee over the ankle and stay up a little bit more. Or maybe you use blocks or hands come to the floor and you bring the hips forward a little bit more and you get a little bit deeper. Now this is one of those shapes that can hold a lot in it. So if the hips are feeling tight and you want to move in and out of a straight leg to a bent knee pose, this low lunge, you can do that. So take some time just moving dynamically, noticing how it feels. And then maybe you settle into it a little deeper. Or maybe not. You're like, that's just too much for me. I'm gonna walk it back. You can do that. I want you to choose your adventure. Choose what feels right. And so once you find your spot, let's go ahead and hold. And don't forget to breathe. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Slowly come out. Step that foot back. If you want to take a pause in between sides, you can. And then when you are ready, step the other foot forward. Another point just to be mindful of, make sure those toes are pointing to the top of your mat. You always want to kind of make sure that the knee is pointing or going towards that second toe. So feel free to bend and straighten into this shape as deep as you like. And maybe as you're bending and straightening, maybe the toes come towards your face. Where do you feel that? I'm feeling it in my calf. I feel that engagement. That muscle is getting nice and fired up. So a couple more, and then we'll settle into a hold for a few breaths. Okay, once you're there, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Slowly come out. Take your props, move them to the side. Let's find a comfortable seat. I'm just pausing here. Find a spot on the ground in front of you and just cast your gaze down. And then just notice your face. Are you clenching your teeth? Can you release the jaw? And maybe that even means bringing your thumbs to the hinge joint in your face and then just making little circles there, right? It's like elastic bands, nice and tight. You want to loosen them up a little bit. So if you wake up frequently with headaches or jaw pain, try doing this before bedtime. Just kind of reminding your body, like giving it a little subtle cue, like, hey, we're going to sleep. Let's relax. Let's not hold the tension in our face any longer because it doesn't feel good, right? And those headaches can be so bothersome. All right, so let your hands come back down. Good. Or if you want to just take your hands and slowly just kind of like carefully brush them lightly over your face. Good. Down the front of your neck, your throat. Good. And just kind of dust it off, shake it off. Good. Bring a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly. And try to breathe into your palms. Smooth that breath out. Let that exhale be longer than your inhale. And then notice. Can you notice your hand over your heart? Can you feel your heartbeat? You are alive. You are well. And you are powerful. And you have exactly the tools you need at this moment for your journey. The right tools will find you. Trust me, they do. They find you and they just speak to you. And maybe you take a training, maybe you take a course. I'm telling you, there's so many tools out there. You just have to find the ones that work for you. And that is what I'm doing. I'm finding the tools that work for me and then I'm offering them to people that may have experienced the same things I've experienced. So I'm giving you a tool so you can use it. And then maybe you share that tool with somebody else. Right? Share it with your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, the people you work with. You know, just the casual conversation you have with people. You know, maybe there's an oversharer and you learn a little bit something about them. And then maybe you teach them the acronym WAIT. Why am I talking? Maybe you tell them like, maybe this, you know, this really works for me when I feel like I've overshared and I don't know how to shut up and be quiet. I can remind myself, why am I talking? What is the point? What am I trying to convey? Can I shorten it up a little bit? Can I be a little more concise with my words so I don't feel like I'm verbally diarrhea or vomiting all over somebody? Because I've done that. We've all done that. I'm sure at some point we're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do to this poor person? I'm so sorry. But you know, if you're an empath like myself, you might find yourself in situations where people just come to you and they want to tell you things. It's nice. Yeah, it's a nice thing, but also it can be a lot. So take care of ourselves. We have to practice the self-care, making sure that we are the basics, right? Drinking our water, getting sleep, moving our body, and managing our stress. And that's why I love yoga, because it gets me to move my body. It helps me to manage my stress. I get 2 out of the 4 in one thing. I love it. I'm all about efficiency. Work smarter, not harder. So that's what and you know that when I teach, yin practice, I'm like, we're going to target this, this, and this. Let's get the most bang for our buck in the time we have together. So again, find those tools, find Reiki. I love Reiki. I'm a practitioner of Reiki. Find that, heal it, use it for yourself, and then share that tool with other people, because as you are, helping other people, it's also helping you. And that's one of the keys, right? Is to, when we feel like where we are in that space of like unworthy, our self-esteem, or we're just having a bad day, we're starting to feel like the depression start to set in. I highly encourage you to find a way to be of service. Be useful, right? It helps us get out of our own ways, right? Because I know for myself, and this is my experience in my 43 years, is that sometimes I have that tendency to wallow, and I'll just kind of stay stuck there, on sad island by myself, and, nothing's cheering me up. And I'm like, I know what I can do. I can do some yoga. Or wait a minute, I'm teaching tomorrow. That's going to help me to feel better because I'm being of service. And that is, maybe it is a little people pleasing still, but it helps me get out of my own head and out of my own way. Right? Good. I see some people, they get it. They understand. They're like-minded. Beautiful. Okay, my friends, I'm not taking you into a Shavasana for this one. So if you feel like you want to come down into a Shavasana for yourself, you're more than welcome to stay there as long as you like. But we're going to go ahead and close this practice. But if there's anything you want to add, if there's anything that you want to see again, do you want to have another series? Probably not in November, but I might be able to offer it again in January, because I'm not sure how December is looking with things. Oh, I think Wednesday are the days, right? Or is it Thursdays? Christmas, all that. Is it on a Wednesday or Thursday? I'll have to get it together. But if there's anybody out there that wants another one, just go ahead and write yes or why. And then, I can think about another time we can do another series. And maybe this will be like part 2 of it. Yeah. Okay. I love this, and this is one of those things that had been on my mind for a long, long time. And then finally, I think it was one Sunday when I was teaching, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it for October. We're just going to do it. We're going to do the 5 weeks every Wednesday. And I like Wednesday. Wednesday seems to be a good day for me. I hope it works for you. But if you missed any of the practices, feel free to find my link tree, which is on my website, which if you go to my page here on Insight Timer, you can find the link tree and my Patreon if you want to purchase any of the practices. This one will be up later this week. So, all right, friends, let's sit up nice and tall. Wait, let me just scooch over. Always, yeah, yay. All right, Ron. You're welcome, Firefly. You are so welcome, my friends. Okay. And then if there's anything else, that pops in my little brain between now and January, I'll bring it to the table and see how anybody else feels about it. Because there might be another practice that might be really beneficial too. Yeah. All right. I can think of other things, other series ideas. All right, friends. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Palms touch. Exhale, bringing down all of that divine universal energy to your heart centers. And that divine universal energy vibrates as the frequency of love, through which you and I and all sentient beings are connected on this planet. The light in me salutes and honors the light in all of you, my friends. Namaste. Again, thank you so much for being here, being open to this, doing your healing, and just know that this is a piece of it, right? There are other tools out there that you can find that will help you on this healing journey. And just remember, it is not linear. It is like a spiral. It's like, for me, it's like you touch on that trauma, you touch on the ouchies, and do some self-reflection, and maybe you move away and you get a little closer, and then you move away and then you come back to it. So it is a journey, and some chapters are harder than others. But I'm happy to be here with you tonight. I'm happy to offer it, and I'm happy that you're here to support each other and me you. So, all right, I will see you Friday, 5 p.m. for Yin. Feel Good Friday Yin Yoga. Betty will be here. As always, chewing on Wolfie or Chicky. Yeah, all right. Okay, friends, I will see you next time, and your donations are always greatly welcome and appreciated. And I will see you on Friday at 5 p.m. for Yin, and then the following Friday. No practice on Sunday, but thank you so much. All right, sending it right back to you. And Betty says, thanks for joining, everybody. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.